kumo bantale ko e-electronics walla nata de BRIKAMA sate kono koten badingolu e-electronics e bale damin wala mo Islamic Bank nyatile ngola BRIKAMA sate kono e-electronics itol dum ika
Mengbe Kering
nkafo wole nyama
NIAMBAI
nkafo wole nyama Mengbe Kering
kasata wole nyama
Pamodnala kapo moli jiberani na molali kame kukibaro se watu mosita maluma Ali uli kalina se watu mo Pamodnala kapo moli jiberani na molali kame kukibaro se watu mosita maluma Wawai Ali uli kalina se watu mo se watu mo se watu mo Ali uli kalina Abenyame kafole nyam se watu mo say what you more, I say what you more. Abenyame kafole nyam, pamonala kapomori jibelani la mulali kame kokibaro say what you more. Sitambali ma boy, ali uli kalina. Say what you more, pamonala kapomori jibelani la mulali kame kokibaro say what you more. Sitambali ma boy, ali uli kalina. Say what you more, say what you more, I say what you more, say what you more. Abenyame kafole nyam say what you more say what you more I say what you more Abenyame kafole nyam Ule lota tambula temena kaironi sewo alamadala la yi Ule lota temena say what you more wait say what you more I say what you more Abenyame kafole nyam say what you more
Mengbe Kering
nkafo wole nyama
NIAMBAI
nkafo wole nyama Mengbe Kering
kasata wole nyama
Mengbe Kering nkafo wole nyama.
Let's clap for him as he speaks. The next, Mr. NIAMBAI. BOJANG. Next person we have is Mr. Momodu A. We have been most of the time. I would like to speak a little of Mandinka, though I know my Mandinka is not that good. Welcome to the graduation ceremony, Mengbe Kering. And ala onkurol and general assistant. And people book safero manke ku mi alon ko asonia tabake. And manke mobile go book safero no, especially coming for compilation of poems in one particular book. It's something that is tedious and it needs somebody to sacrifice his or her time and be dedicated to whatever he or she is doing. Thank you. my is and next time I'm and he's a supervisor at TC. Not I call him Mr. Teeneger. Please come on board. Can we clap for him, please?
The screen must have been elongated and make you bigger. So when I saw you walking, oh, so soft and so to share the same table with you. And the other guy too, BOJANG, I must confess, I'm one of his admirers. When his radio station was closed, I smashed my radio. I said, there's no need to keep the radio now because I have nowhere to listen. His popular programs, Mengbe Kering, KB4, and the social letter, I have never missed them. I have always enjoyed his programs. And then, so, we have been colleagues at the Gambia College. JAINABA, I started to congratulate you. In those days, ladies are not bold enough to write books. They don't pen names. But the invent of technology, today, you have become a storyteller. And you have, of course, added your name in the list of Gambian authors. But my daughter, before I go further, I must tell you the dilemma in which you are. And the dilemma is, you are just like a singer who was called to perform. And shortly before you start performing, you were called aside and told that, well, your entire audience is deaf. Can you dance to an audience that can see? But you are the worst dancer on earth. Now, are you going to sing to an audience that can hear? Or are you going to dance poorly to an audience that can see? Is the dilemma in which you are. You are writing for those people who are in what we call linguistic exile, which has been demonstrated in Things Fall Apart. At the closing chapters, when the district commissioner came and saw the dangling body of Okonko, he said, why are you denying him a burial? They were talking to an interpreter. Obi asked him, you have said the greatest man to suicide. Now he's going to be buried like a dog. Then Chinua Achebe put these words in the commissioner and said, I'm going to another book entitled Pacification of People of the Lower Nile. And that is. So you have started, but this is not your book. Shows an illustration here, the poem entitled Esafal. Esafal becomes very popular in the Gambian. Why? Because he is doing his work. He is paid by age. And that's also demonstrated with Greek philosopher Socrates, whose last words were, "Oh, you people of Athens, I pray to you, my children go and pick the wealth and knowledge. The way you have treated me, the hour of departure has. I to you see from God and knows." Socrates drank the poison called, and before he drank it, he demonstrated such a bit that the person collecting the drink of the hemlock and that is manifested in this book. In the poem, the image still lingers, the one that called Jame. Now people confess that they are true my father. They confess and they were guilty. They confess that they were carrying out an order that was not justified. Still they confess. At the time is the same again. In this poem, the voice of the teenager is demonstrated in Last of the by Usman, where he said, the poetry of truth of the elders. In our society, we are only seeing the heart, and the teenagers are healing. They want to part, they want to take part, of course, in the development of the nation. And what of us do in their talks demonstrate in Mandela? He said, resonate with that if the results of it are still alive. And what was that? That was his last trial. When he was convicted, he was asked to put on shorts, and he said he was not going to put on shorts. Shorts are meant for boys, and Africans are not boys. So when the poem came and found both breakfast and food, he said, okay, we are going to pay heed to upstairs. We are not going to move you to Kenya. And that was the worst in his life. That was the time he said, his coach. He was in this in the Peru, in Macbeth by Shakespeare. So you can see somebody who 400 years ago, he was treated by a young girl who belonged to different culture. In Macbeth, at the opening chapters, he appeared. They said, "Outside the court, rebels hereafter, and that shall be king hereafter." And the Banco, those are the king, but that shall have a king. That means you have children who are going to become king. So that one is manifested in the image of Pharaoh. What happened when Jame took over? It's called Machiavellian theory. Is the process whereby everybody is puppetized. Fear is in people. People are more in blood. People are seized and named. The same way Macbeth ruled by eliminating rule was the same way Jame ruled. When he came to power, orders. So I would orders. And the only way he got in power was to build the people whom he brought together. And of course, this book manifests an area not good. That is in the area, what we call the caput inter nubile. That was the role, the father, the authority. After God created Eve, he seized of power and gave it to God. Noah, take cut and ark. All those who lived in me in the ark, and send fruits. All those who don't believe in me would perish. And that was in the law. So that's why the poem is the promise that give to God, the promise that magistrates should give to the people. Maybe by Esapa notes the rift between looking two treaties and Sarabot please. They are law, where the law has to go up for one reason or due to the difference in principle. Gentlemen, literature is the writing of objects, and these objects emanate emanate from reality. And this reality emanates from a natural phenomenon. So that is to say, there is a ritual, complete. Every ritual is authentic. So I think JAINABA would of course continue this book because it's not completed. Literature is something continuity. So she has another book as other writers so that her work becomes public. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to BRIKAMA is worth reading. Accepted BRIKAMA to be. She felt proud as Patrice Lumumba said in the letter he wrote to his wife. As I read this letter to you, I don't know at the time it gets to you that I will dead or alive. But it's not me who matters. It's the people of Congo who remain unshakable. But the greatest portion there is where he said, please, all this I'm doing for is for my children and the people of Africa. But the last portion is, he said, and he warned his wife, when my children grow, write the history of Africa. Is distorted. And JAINABA has set the space. The history of Africa. And JAINABA needs support. So let me just give you the tip of the iceberg. And I urge every person here to buy a book, to patronize JAINABA, to enable her. I thank you very much for your attention.
That is the poem about BRIKAMA. She's so proud of where she's coming from. Keep it up and congratulations. And as Ms. Nalie Bukosang, Londo Jamale Bide Mialonko, Hanite Makarano, Dose Mako Yakarano, Yalonko Mimbide. Abe bije BRIKAMA fon albota dame fana wo bebe ni buko kono mbal danila aliye buko sang aliya support kandu jenaba momi yalon ko allondo siya batale nali ni buko sang next year inshallah abe buko do safela co-produce that is how the younger generation that is coming can benefit from these write-ups. Thank you so very much. And now we're going to call the young talented students of St. Charles Lowanga Upper Basic School to come and perform a drama sketch for us entitled The Teenage Housemaid. But before they come on board, I would kindly love to ask the author to
what will I do? For almost years I'm looking for a job. I don't have any job to do. I'm from a very poor family. What will I do? What will I do?
Binta! Medaka, please come here. Come. Mommy. Oh, dear. I haven't seen something. Wow, you're looking good. Come. Where are you going? A friend's birthday party. Your friend's birthday party? You behave as if it's your own birthday party. Your father hasn't been explained now. Maybe it's because of her. You need money. Where's the money I gave you in the morning? Binta. You can spend money there. She just asked me that she says she wants a job, that's why.
A job?
Yes.
So you don't employ her?
No.
You have to employ her. You don't see how you have to employ this girl.
My husband, you don't know where she is from.
Employ her. Somebody.
Okay. How are you looking at her like this? You asked me to employ her and you are looking at her back. What happened? It's not serious. Il est une femme, elle dit. Okay then, don't worry, you can go until tomorrow, okay? Yes, I will employ. Just go until tomorrow. I will. Just go.
Can I come tomorrow?
Oh, no problem. You can come tomorrow.
What I'm doing? Are you mad?
No.
Are you mad at what I'm doing?
No.
Because I have money. I have money. I can even use you and pay you. You don't know that?
Use me?
Talking guys, are you mad? I talk again. I will slap you. Send you out of this house. Are you mad? You want me to slap you out?
No. But it's okay. I should not be even sitting here crying. Because yesterday I went a nice girl. I became successful. I can't believe this. Oh my God. Oh my dear.
Hey, don't touch me. Nobody wake up for themselves. I hope you are.
I dreamed that day night.
Shut up.
My dear, take it easy. I become successful in life. And I'll become weak like your father.
Repeat that sentence again.
I say I will become weak.
Hey, in this house, my father's house, the house that my father built for me.
Oh, my dear.
You see that way? But you call it.
What do you
But you
mean?
know. But you call it what you do. You know this money.
Are you serious?
What I want to do.
But I already got my mom.
Don't worry, your solution, your that problem will be solved. If I'm done, my phone is there. I'll buy the 100 that I put it there. You call your mother and tell your mother it's a hard. Go and see that house.
What am I doing?
I tell you what. Live in this house, in my own father's house.
No situation is permanent. This teenager worked hard despite all the challenges she faced. She was harassed, abused, and maltreated. But she kept reminding herself that after every hardship is a success. Life's not easy. Yes, my dear.
There's a contract for you to sign.
What contract is this?
Do you remember your little yes, I'm my father.
Oh, I remember him. He was my classmate. Yes. I'm very happy
Khadija Diallo, Khadija Hama.
Excuse me, is everything okay?
Yes, everything's fine. Okay, you can move. I'm going to walk the tank. Princess Cissé. Moo nekkoon ñu may milital seen kër ma doon liggéey. Léegi apply na pour ma employé ko. Life is like this. What goes around comes around.
No situation is permanent. You ought to work hard to make your dreams come true, as demonstrated by one of the characters here. Despite all odds, she was maltreated. She was treated so badly, but still now she was patient enough, knowing that there is something that she really wants to achieve. At times we see people pass with expensive cars, and I wish I'm like this person. But you take your time and ask the person where he or she started from. It doesn't come like a magic. You have to work for it. And in order for you to work for it, you have to be determined. And you have to be self-confident and sacrifice a lot when you want the best thing in life. Thank you so very much, the young talented students. We clap for them once more. And now we have poem recitation by Salimatu. Why Salimatu, please?
Thank you all. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, our current timekeepers, members of the high table, co-contestants, teachers, and my fellow students, good afternoon to you all. Before going further, I would like to introduce my humble self for the benefit of those who don't know me. My name is Salimatu Kora, 15 years of age, Mandinka by tribe, and a journalist to be. I am here to read a poem entitled The Virgin Africa, and here it goes. In my dream, I had a narration that tells me my culture, that Africa was my domination. When my generation existed, this continent was my admiration. I can hear the tales of our foundation. When Africa was my nation, we had a population that lived in cooperation, a population that lived in temptation, a population that had liberation, a population where desperation, demarcation, intimidation, subjugation, implication, and elimination were never seen. But today, Africa is a society where our culture is a contamination, our color is an intoxication. From Ethiopia to Algeria, Gambia to Zambia, Liberia to Mauritania, Namibia to Nigeria, Somalia to Tanzania, as well as Tunisia. Our culture is not our pride. See, we've been subdued to a local culture we call modernization. A modernization where racism, nepotism, and tribalism are injected in our socialism. A cultural transformation that breeds misrepresentation and causes argumentation. All started from exploration to exploitation, slavery to apartheid, European exploration, colonization, assimilation and association, nationalization and globalization, and finally to a modernization. A modernization that germinates decentralization that cultivates discrimination. Thank you for your kind attention.
For that wonderful poem. We are Africans. No matter what, we'll still be Africans. And as an African, you have to be proud of being an African. Still now, we should be proud of being an African. And thank you so very much, Salimatu, for that point. And now we call on Senator BOJANG. Senator BOJANG is also one of the members of the YGS to come and recite a poem for us. Senator, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I am here to recite a poem entitled The Teachers of the Pencil Users. Justice cannot be justified if I don't introduce my humble self don't know me, my name is Sarah BOJANG, a member of YTS, Young Talented Students of St. Charles Upper Basic School. The teachers of the pencil users are the ones whose foot feed the people's with letters ringing from A to Z, words after word, sentence to sentence, numbers from 1 to 100. The planners of the academic from the foundation to completion, as parents did their roles at home, so teachers did their roles at school. As the judges judge the cases in the heart of the court, so teachers judge million cases in school without any unfairness. No amount of money can pay their services. These are the roots of the academic tree. Of the roots are found, the trees will surely become sturdy without the fear of being shaken by the headwinds. I thank you all for your kind attention.
And now we're going to call on the one who makes everyone to speak. And he is an international lawyer, a defense counsel at the International Criminal Court, that's ICC, and a senior partner at FAL & Co. He led prosecution in the Darfur investigations and also served as a lead counsel for a number of other cases. In 2018, he was appointed as lead counsel at the Gambian Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, that's the TRRC. And this man is no other than Mr. NIAMBAI.
Good afternoon, everybody. Justice will not be justified if I do not introduce myself. And my name is NIAMBAI. Thank you very much. I could not help but quote that phrase. It was so touching. I must say that I am mighty impressed by not just what I have read in this book, but what I have seen demonstrated here today. This is the second time I'm doing a book launch in poetry. And the reality is dawning on me even more that we have missed out a great deal in our childhood. I mean, people at around my age. I had the great fortune of growing up in a household where the head of the household was also a teacher. So, hip for the teachers. My father was a teacher, but he was a teacher of geography and environmental studies. We did not have any exposure to poetry, and girls at that time were very shy to speak in public, let alone to speak in the English language. It was quite frightening. Rarely would you find girls speaking in English. I recall, during our teenage years, if you want to impress a girl at school, you come and speak good English, so. And it worked, because they're so scared and intimidated. They just wanted the conversation to be over. But the fact of the matter is, they were in fact better in the language than we were, but only that they were shy to speak and shy to publish. And that's why we have to celebrate JAINABA for being so bold and being so brave. She has written a book. She called The Voice of a Teeneger. I call it The Wisdom of a Grandmother. The ideas and and the thoughts that are contained in this book are far more mature than those of a teenager. I guess I can continue. It's all right. I am a trial lawyer. I can project, and I should be able to speak loud for all that. The ideas in this book are way above and beyond the age of the author. And maybe the author herself realized that. There is one of the poems that she wrote. I think it's got to do with the something of the youth. Let me take a look at that one again. Just a moment. It's something of the youth. And the author kind of betrays her thoughts that she was a whole lot smarter than a teenager and had ideas way above that of a teenager. In the poem on the youth of today, page 53, she went on to say, they are not like the youths of yore. They appear too mature for their ages. They look too tired for their thoughts. They appear too inquisitive, like a 10-year-old girl who stood and displayed great understanding of poetry that one would almost mistake for a 20-year-old. They ask so many questions, she says, but the answers provided that matter most. And they were long braid of hairs with short form of shorts, or sorting form of shorts. Ethics are nothing to them, virtues are nothing to them. The youth, she is complaining, are completely different. These youths are much more trapped in the things that matter the least in life. Long hair and skimpy shorts. She must have been complaining about her society, but she's looking at it as though she belongs to a different world. Quite interesting. She is not thinking like her colleagues. She's not thinking like those youths. She is in fact looking to them as if she is grandmother from a completely different age or from a different planet. And that is why this is such an interesting book. But let's look at the beginning. The great hero. She is pretty much crediting everything to education. And I think that is some learning for all of us. And she described things in interesting ways. Education is the great hero that kills the mightiest king, called illiteracy, inherits its property, and rules its kingdom with a great power called literacy. I think that is very deep. It's so profound. It's surprising that it's coming from a person of such a young age. But as if that is not the peak of things, she went on to say that the light that brightens the world, the key that opens the gigantic doors of the world, education, the gigantic tree of the world. This is serious thinking about education. Education means the gigantic ocean to her, and rightly so. Because it is only through education that she was able to put together these great ideas. Let's give her a round of applause. I say this is a very big book. It is small in size and few in pages, but massive in terms of ideas. She has touched basically the length or life as she knows it. She dealt with all her experiences, including romance at, well, a tender age, but also the politics of the day. But more importantly, the cries of the people around her and the plight of the youth of this country. As if she has heard the cries or the stump speeches in modern political rallies, where everybody is complaining about Mengbe Kering. Everybody is complaining about Ligay Amut. Everybody is complaining about Faye Doit. And it's quite surprising to me. I looked at her biography, and she is indeed a very young person, probably still a teenager. But I cannot help wondering what kind of head she carries. Certainly is not one of a teenager. The experiences discussed in this book far outrun that of a teenager. And maybe it's about time, perhaps, that she has grown up and expects soon to be thanking her husband. This is such a big book, and I think for a person who wants to understand the trials and tribulations and the journey of a young woman who lived in BRIKAMA, went through Gambia College, and teaches in a primary school in Gambia, perhaps this would explain that person's life story. So bravo for doing justice to this work, and you have made everything in it very much justified. Thank you very much. And before I leave, I would buy 10 books for the 10 youngest people in the crowd, and go and register there if you believe that you are as young as me, and make sure you get it on copy. Thank you very much.
What else for the adults, Mr. Park? Why only the young ones? Thank you so very much for that insightful deliberation on the book. As Mr. NIAMBAI said, the book is so rich. It's so rich with different points. And I personally am very proud that a teacher among us, and also a female for that matter, wrote such very interesting points. Gone are those days when book writing is considered to be a man's domain. Congratulations once again. We're so proud of you.
kudima nata ku soneyari mo anin ko mi yalon ko abe lankene mari alnyaabe nyemoto min na teng Toyota Hilux long ay malejo min bori ama wonyo wara bari ala masiŋo nata problème soto so waya sabu nyente boto abe wantero de dato to min yalon ko albe sulare nyi nyomoto sifa la 4-wheel drive automatic andun diesel long gas wheel aka waleta alse ferore ke aliye nyin telephone kumandi 9813609 walla 7668394 ni mari lafta moto jela ise fero ke ini nyin le nyomoy isaje ko ye jero soni andimo